Don't let anyone fool you, believers. I mean it. Don't let anyone fool you. Anyone who's truly honest is someone that's humble. They recognize their inherent vulnerability and weaknesses as a human being. They acknowledge how vulnerable they are and how exposed they are to dangers in this fallen world. Secondly, because they admit their vulnerability, they have empathy with the vulnerabilities and well-being of other people. That's second. And third, because they acknowledge their inherent vulnerabilities and second, they have empathy for the vulnerability of other people, they are motivated to look for what's best for everyone as far as they can. As far as it depends on them, they look for what's best for everyone. And fourth, because they admit these three things, because these three things are present, the fourth thing is they're open to receive from God Himself. That is what an honest individual is. If those four things are present, someone is honest. But if those four things are not present, then someone is not honest. They're just violent. If someone is upset and just throw out why they are upset, they are not honest. Do they acknowledge their inherent vulnerabilities? No, they don't want to talk about it. They're just upset. Oh, so do they have empathy with the vulnerabilities and well-being of other people? No, it's all about them being upset and they want something to stop. Oh, so it's just about them being aggressive and wanting their way, and they are doing it openly so that everyone knows this is what I want. And it doesn't matter what other people want. It doesn't even matter if what they want is correct or not. They just want it, and for some reason you have to deal with what they want. And if what they want harms you, well, that's your problem. You need to deal with it. That's narcissism. If someone is not humble, remember, for humility, these four things are present. They acknowledge their inherent vulnerabilities, so they realize they can't do everything on their own. They're not the Most High. So they are realistic. Secondly, they realize the vulnerabilities and well-being of others as equally important. Thirdly, they are willing to invest in the well-being both of themselves and others as far as it depends on them. And fourth, they realize they need the Most High. Eventually that will happen. An unbeliever who has the first three qualities present eventually will end up with the fourth and they will become born again. So, anyone who's not humble is not honest. So stop calling people who are blunt honest. Stop calling people who are just down to earth and straight to the point honest. They're not. They're just violent. That's all they are. They are violent in a socially acceptable way. That's all they are. But it's still violence because it's all self-centered. Me, myself, and I. It's always they have their reasons and it's their life. They have boundaries. They have things they don't want. It's all about their reasons, their will, and their will should not be challenged. Who are they that their will is not supposed to be challenged? God Himself gives an explanation of everything He does. Even the fact that He doesn't reveal when Christ returns, He already explained to us why He doesn't do it. So if God Himself, the owner of heaven and earth, if He Himself explains Himself, then who are these creatures thinking that they can have a will, or they can have an opinion, or can they have an attitude, and they have nobody, and they don't have anything to explain to anyone. Everyone has fine way to deal with what they want, and nobody's allowed to tell them nor change them. Because they are so-called sovereign. God, the only one who's sovereign, explains Himself. So who are they? I'm telling you, stop calling people honest who are just violent. And here's another thing. You have this thing called rudeness. What is rude? To be rude simply means that you don't consider the expectation of someone else. Hold on a minute. If the people around you expect you to tolerate narcissistic violence on yourself because they don't want to be bothered with the fact that there's violence happening and they have to deal with it, because that's what often happens. People don't want to deal with what's going on in their community. So if you are affected by the wrongness going on and the people expect you not to open your mouth about it because it's going to upset them, if you do open your mouth, which is what you should do, they call you rude and they're upset with you. Hold on a minute. So you have to allow yourself to be ruined and killed just so they are at ease? That's respectful, that's kind, that's what? Listen, anyone can come up with any expectation. It doesn't mean their expectations are correct, it doesn't mean that the expectation should be honored, and it doesn't mean that they are right. So just because people hold on to expectations does not entitle them to have those expectations validated. But that's what happens in society. People have expectations and expect you to validate them. If you don't do it, you're rude. And if you don't do that, they feel attacked and now they want to take actions against you. So they feel victimized because their expectations are not validated, and now they make you into a victim by attacking you to make an example out of you. For everyone else, don't ignore our expectations or else. Who are they that they just can come with expectation, everyone else just to find a way to deal with it? If a single individual does that, everyone would say, don't be an arsehole, man. Who do you think you are? But when a whole group does it, oh, now it's okay because it's society. Come on now. Look, you get along with people's expectations, even weird ones. There's nothing wrong with that, until they go against the Most High. Until it's obvious that they just want to play God over you. But here's the thing. When they are violent openly, they call it honesty. When you resist their violence, you're being rude. You see where this is going? So, who is Lord? Christ is Lord. That means they're not Lord. So, that means that all their expectations must be examined and all their wills must be tested, whether they're correct or not, or whether it's Christ-centered or not. If it's not Christ-centered, their will should not be honored and it should be discarded. And if they persist in something that they should discard, then they are reprobates. Pure and simple. So, only honor those that deserve honor, and only call honest those that are truly honest. That's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.